Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This video is going to be talking about GSP versus Anderson Silva. Yes! Very excited for it if they can make the fight happen. Now, I want to apologize to all my subscribers. I'm really sorry, guys. Before I even get into this video, I'm sorry I didn't miss to watch the fight, but I missed doing a review of GSP against Carlos Condit. Now it's too late, and it's kind of like no point in doing it now. But just to give you real quick my thoughts on it, I thought it was a great fight. A lot more exciting than I thought it was going to be. Carlos did really well. I wasn't really surprised by how well he did against GSP, but I felt like it was just a really competitive, really good fight back and forth. I mean, that head kick he landed against GSP, very impressive. He wasn't that close to finishing him. I mean, it seemed to me that GSP was pretty much okay throughout most of that. I don't think he was ever really, that close to finishing the fight. It was pretty close. It wasn't like, like right at the end. It wasn't like the armbar of Vitor Belfort against John Jones. Not that close. It was a little close. However, of course, GSP's wrestling is just on, another level compared to Carlos's wrestling. Especially to not even just the wrestling technique, but his strength too. I mean, he was ragdolling Carlos all over the place, which was funny to see. Just really funny to see. Carlos fights tough though. Fights hard. He doesn't really slow down very much. And was a great fight. Really good fight. So just to give you my quick thoughts on it, I enjoyed that fight very much. But this fight coming up, if the UFC can get it together, will be, for me, probably one of the best fights. I'll be more excited for this fight than probably any other fight in UFC history, just because of how long the UFC has been trying to get this going for. And I mean, it's still we're not even sure at this point if they're going to be able to get it going, because in actuality, it doesn't look like GSP is excited to fight Anderson Silva or wants to. Now, Dana White did say, well, he's just tired. He just got hit by a truck. I quote, he just got hit by a truck. So, we'll talk to him in a little bit and see how he feels. Says he's going on vacation. So he's not really thinking about the Anderson Silva fight right now. He's going to go on vacation for a bit, and then we'll see what happens after that. But, I mean, I think the way GSP is handling this, even though he just fought Carlos, is a little bit strange. It's a little bit strange because you got to think that in all these years, when fans have been thinking about this fight like crazy for so long, GSP doesn't seem to have been thinking about this fight. He doesn't seem to be like, oh yeah, Anderson, yeah, I'm ready, let's do it, or anything like that, or like, yeah, sooner or later it was going to happen, so let's do it. Let's do it after this fight. He just kind of seems to be like, well, in interviews and stuff, we'll talk about it when we get to that point. The UFC wants me to do it, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And, I'm just focusing on this fight right now. I don't want to think about other fights. And I can understand that fighters would want to focus on, their next fight that's coming up, the particular next one they're going to get. So if before GSP's beaten Carlos, he's going to be just not even wanting to think about any other fighters. But you have to think, too, it's like, this is, Anderson Silva against GSP. This is a huge fight. And even though GSP wants to stay focused and all that stuff, he's got to be thinking ahead a little bit. I mean, don't you think? I mean, like, he's got to be thinking ahead a little bit and saying, okay, after this fight, I'm going to fight Anderson. It really does look like GSP is ducking Anderson Silva. It does. It looks like I think inside, like deep down inside of him, he actually maybe doesn't think he can beat Anderson. He maybe doesn't. I mean, it doesn't seem like he really has that confidence and the belief in himself that he's going to be able to beat him. I mean, if you were the type of person that was really excited for a challenge and you felt confident that you could accomplish that or beat whatever or do whatever it is, you wouldn't respond the way GSP's been responding. You as a person would probably be like, yes, I'm excited to do that, to test my skills, to whatever. GSP doesn't really seem to be responding that way. He seems to more be like, I'm going on vacation, or not even wanting to think about it. Maybe he himself doesn't really think he can beat Anderson, which kind of worries me because, the UFC, Dana White, seems like he says, I'm going to make this fight happen regardless, whatever they're going to sign, they're going to fight. And it's going to be late spring or early summer or something like that. They're going to make it happen. But if GSP doesn't want to do it, then, it's not going to happen. That's all there is to it. If he won't sign, it's kind of like Dana White said before, who was it who wouldn't sign a fight? And Dana White was like, oh, if I can't make guys sign, then, you know, I can't make guys fight. I can't force them to fight. So at the end of the day, it's not really up to Dana White himself. The fighters have to want to do it too. And GSP's always been a UFC company man and done what the UFC wants him to do. But this situation is a little bit different because, you know, he's in a weight class below. He's going to have to move up and all of that kind of stuff. He says he wants to talk to his trainers and everything first, and they're going to make a decision. But it just really seems to me like he doesn't really want to do it. He's not interested to fight Anderson or to even try, which really would suck for us if Dana White can't talk him into it. You know, because, I mean, he does have a chance of beating Anderson. I mean, you got to think that with his skills at 185, you know, I mean, I think these guys cling to weight classes a little bit too much, and they're too worried about it. I mean, if you're talking the difference between a class, 15 pounds, whatever, who cares? I mean, you know, for a few months, do a little bit more weight training and get your weight up, you know, have your creatine and all that shit, and get the water going, and you know, you'll put on, 5 pounds, 10 pounds of muscle, a little bit extra, maybe a little bit of fat, but whatever, you know, it's not going to hurt you too much, and, you know, make that fight happen. You know, I just don't see why it seems like GSP doesn't want to say anything about it. It's just crazy, because his wrestling is extremely good. He's fast. His striking is good. I don't know. To me, it seems like a no-brainer, but, you know, if GSP thinks he's walking into certain doom, then he might just not do it at all. And if they can't make that happen, I'd like to see Anderson fight John Jones. I'd probably be actually more interested to see Anderson fight John Jones, just based on the fact that GSP doesn't look like he wants to do it. So anyway, those are pretty much my thoughts on it. You know, GSP is one of the greatest fighters in the history of the sport, definitely in the top 5 and all of that. But you can't knock it. All the signs are there that, yeah, he seems like he's ducking him, at least so far. So we'll see how things go. I really hope that they can get this fight together and GSP will take it, because you know Anderson will take it, but hopefully GSP will. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the situation. If you guys agree with me, feel free to give a thumbs up. If you disagree and you think I'm totally full of shit and GSP's just, you know, not thinking about it right now, give me a thumbs down. That's pretty much all I got to say. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. Lots of video predictions coming up. I got to do Reem versus Bigfoot. Rashad's next fight. I mean, there's a lot of different fights. Glover and Rampage. There's a lot of different fights I got to do predictions for coming up. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. See you for the next one. This is Trev saying peace.